Hi, and welcome to the BCS Careers Inspiration Series. If this is your first time watching, then the idea of the series is to introduce you to some people who've chosen a career in IT. And we're speaking to people who've chosen all different pathways in IT. And we'll find out a bit about what their job is, what the different choices are for the future. And yeah, we're speaking to people who've come from all different routes through apprenticeships, university, fast track schemes. So you get to hear about all sorts of different routes into the industry as well. And today I'm joined by Ruby from Microsoft. Thanks very much for joining us today. And
No worries.
the first thing, it would be great to hear from you and just a bit about what your job is and what's kind of involved in your work.
Yeah, so my role at Microsoft is called a Premier Field Engineer, a term no one knows outside of Microsoft, so don't worry. And effectively, what I do is I work with our Premier customers, so our large organizations, brands that most people will have heard of, and organizations and some that no one will have ever heard of before. And I help them with using our Microsoft technologies for their organization so that they can collaborate better or work better together, but also fit it into the requirements of our organization, of their organization. Things aren't one size fits all, so sort of trying to navigate that along with our customers and taking them on the journey through our technology. So I typically spend outside of COVID-19, spend quite a lot of my time on site with our customers. So building the relationship face to face, sat next to them, helping, talking them through workshops, all of that kind of thing.
That's really interesting. Nice to get out and about as well and meet lots of different
Yeah,
people and everything. Yeah.
definitely.
Um, and can you tell us about something you're currently working on at the moment?
Yeah, so I have a project going on with one of my customers at the moment where we're looking at 2 or 3 of their paper-based systems. So they write everything down sort of almost on scraps of paper, to be honest, on their desks, and that's how it gets transported and sort of taken through the journey. So we're looking at all of those systems and converting them into a system on an app. So to regulate the data entry and to bring them through that workflow, but in a digital way to manage it all in one place and in general just to bring everything together. So we're using a technology called Power Apps in order to do that, which is one of our Microsoft technologies, and we're building those apps along with our customers to change those processes that they're doing, which is really, really interesting actually.
Yeah, and it sounds like a big change as well from paper
Yeah, yeah,
to
it is. It's gonna take a while for their users to get used to it as well, I think.
Yeah, sounds good though. And how did you kind of get into the role? I think you came in through the apprenticeship route. And is technology something you were always interested in working with, or how did you kind of come to be where you are now?
Yeah, so it was a funny one. So all through school, I always picked IT as one of my subjects. So I took it at GCSE and then I took it on at A level as well. And the main reason I did that was because it was my favorite subject. So that's why I took it through that journey. But actually, when I was going through school, I wanted to become a physiotherapist. And when I came to choose my A levels, I realized actually the subjects that I was doing in order to become a physio weren't my favorite subjects. And actually, the class that I really looked forward to going to was IT. So I had a bit of a change and a rethink. And with that, I had a whole sort of rethink around whether I wanted to go to university or not as well. And I started to explore how you'd even what roles are even available in technology, how you'd even come about getting into a role in technology. And I came across the Microsoft apprenticeship scheme, so it was by luck that I found it, and I applied, um, and I was fortunate enough to get a role. Um, and then I started on my 18-month apprenticeship scheme in September 2016 as a support engineer. And then as I went through that journey, I networked and I found out about other roles available within Microsoft. And then that's how I ended up in the PFE role at the end of my apprenticeship.
Ah, that's amazing, nice. And then you've been there for quite a while since your apprenticeship as well, haven't you? So I guess you've learned
Yeah,
a lot throughout that journey.
so much more than I ever imagined that I would.
Yeah. Yeah. And so thinking about your role now, and obviously you get to get out and about and meet lots of clients and stuff, what would you say is the most kind of exciting bits or your favorite bit of what you do now?
Yeah. So I think one of the really key bits for me is the people aspect. So getting to interact with different people on a daily basis. I'm definitely a people person, and a lot of my drive comes from that interaction that I get with people. So that's been a really important and a really exciting part of the role for me. And then I'd say the other bit is the traveling opportunities that come with it. I get opportunities in the UK, but also further afield sometimes as well. And so I've really enjoyed that aspect as well.
Oh, that sounds great. And I guess there might not be such a thing, but it would be interesting to know what a typical kind of working day or working week looks like for you. Are you normally sort of Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, or is it a little bit different than that?
Yeah, so it's Monday to Friday. There's no week's ever exactly the same. um, Things change a lot outside of our current COVID situation. I would say normally 3 to 4 days a week are spent on site with my customers, working with them, having that face-to-face interaction, sitting next to them at the desks. And that can be doing anything from delivering workshops. If there's been a bit of an incident or something's gone wrong, then doing some troubleshooting. It does happen. Sometimes you walk in blind, not knowing that it's happened as well. As well. Um, Sometimes it can be just gathering requirements. Sometimes it can be app building. It can be lots of meetings talking about different requirements that they might have. It can be anything. And it's some of that unpredictableness is actually what I really enjoy in the job. I never completely know what each day is going to look like. Everything's a bit different. I learn something new every day. My customers teach me something new, or I have to go away and find out something new, or you meet someone new. So nothing is typical, but that spending time with people, that's probably my consistent part of my week.
Mm, mm. And do you find it rewarding getting to kind of help people with all the different like improvements that you're making and stuff like that?
Yeah, definitely. When you get like a technology rolled out to a business, or you see how much time an app that you've built has saved for people, or the impact that it might have had, or actually just bringing something new and it having that positive reaction, you definitely get so like, I get inspired by it at the end of the day, and I'm just like, oh my God, I want to do this again.
That's amazing. Nice. And how about outside of work? When you're not at work, what types of things do you enjoy doing?
Yeah, so actually, I love to travel outside of work. So I get those opportunities both inside and outside of work. So I love seeing different places and exploring different countries, all of that kind of thing. I also have a little dog. So she enjoys some long walks at the weekend and getting out and about and seeing places around by us at the weekend. And then just spending time with my friends and family, getting out and about, that kind of thing.
Excellent. And now, if you think back to maybe when you were looking at doing the apprenticeship and kind of thinking about what you wanted to do for the future, is there anything that you think like, oh, I wish someone would have told me that, or I wish I would have known that back then, or any tips for people who might be interested in following a similar route to you?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple. My first one is that I was really hesitant to go into technology because I didn't know if I was technical enough, if I'd be able to do it, if I would know. And actually, Microsoft has taught me almost everything that I know. They've really brought me through my journey, ramped up my technical skills, but also my soft skills, my people skills, the ability to present, things like that. So one thing I'd say is don't hold back because you don't think you have all the skills to do the job yet. Actually, no one has all the skills to do to do the job when they're first hired, and actually people are more than willing to help and support and train and answer all my silly questions that I have even still now. I'm nearly 4 years at Microsoft and I definitely still have them. And then my other one that I really wish someone had told me would be, don't try to decide what you want to do as your career too early on in life. I was pretty set that I wanted to be a physio from when I was like 14 or 15. And actually, because I didn't think about anything else, I had such a set mindset that that's what I wanted to do. I potentially restricted myself and didn't explore the options into IT, for example, earlier on in life. So I would just say keep open-minded and do what you really enjoy, because ultimately that's where you'll gain your most success.
Thanks. And finally, it would be interesting to know, obviously, in the 4 years that you've been at Microsoft, you've kind of like learned a lot about a lot of different things. What would you say is the biggest kind of learning experience that you've had?
Yeah, so I'd say there's been two in the main. My technical skills have changed massively. I wouldn't have been able to do even, I don't know, almost any of the stuff that, that I can do now. So that's been a huge learning curve for me and something that I've really enjoyed. And then my other one is more actually some of my soft skills, so my professional skills. So knowing how to conduct yourself in a meeting, or being able to send emails in the right way, or setting up calls with customers and interacting with customers that way. Those are the skills that have grown massively as well in the last sort of 4 years.
That's amazing. It sounds like you've had a really sort of fruitful and enjoyable career journey so far. So
Yeah,
thanks very much for sharing your kind of experience with us, and hopefully it's
no
inspired some of
worries.
the people watching. It's been really good to speak to you, Ruby. Thanks for your time. I'll
Thank
see
you
you
so
later.
much. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye.